everybody. Welcome back to Heal Yourself Naturally. I'm Nicole Jerome. I'm here with Hava Levy and Sarah Woods Kender. So nice to see you all again. We have so much to cover and discuss today, so we're going right into it. Our last series, we started with our head, nose, throat, ears, basically the head vicinity series, where everything above neck is going to be discussed. We talked a lot about hair thinning, hair loss. What can we do? I'm outside and there's a nice airplane or whatever that is. I'm so sorry about that interruption. I needed some fresh air today, so I figured recording outside would be best. So anyways, we're talking about the head vicinity. And like I said, we discussed a lot about the hair last podcast. And I'll just refresh everybody. Our gut is connected to our head. And if the gut's not clean and there's no circulation there, then you are going to be losing the hair and it's going to thin and et cetera, et cetera. Like every one of our series, you'll notice that the gut is connected to every single part of your body. So if you're not cleaning that gut, the whole body is affected. So we are now going to discuss more of the
Oops. Hold on. Sorry. Unmute. I'm pushing buttons I shouldn't be pushing.
Nicole is muted.
Unmute.
Unmute.
Press it. Sorry. Okay, so we are going to be discussing a lot about the eyes today, the ears. So anything that has to do with eye, loss of vision, vision impairment, itchy eyes, dry eyes, all that fun stuff. Also ears, ringing in the ears, ear infections, so on and so forth. Yeah, we have a lot to discuss. So let's go straight into it. I want to start with the eyes. And we're going to be discussing headaches. Sorry. So maybe we should start with headaches because that's a really big topic.
These are all big topics, actually. These are all big topics.
They're all big topics, yeah, but a lot of people suffer from headaches, right? I know people who suffer from chronic headaches and migraines, lots of them. And I mean, I know most of the time the reason behind it when they start listing their lifestyle and stuff. But I want to dive into headaches first, just because it's such a big topic, or it's we have a lot to discuss to do with that. So let's start with headaches. Sarah, when someone comes to you saying that they suffer from headaches a lot, chronic headaches, or even migraines, right? Because it can be categorized as, it can be in the same category. But it can be, it can be, right?
Yeah.
It can be. So someone's coming to you, they say I have chronic headaches. What are your go-to questions to try to figure out their lifestyle and see how or why and when these headaches come to life? And then what do you suggest to them?
Well, the headache thing is quite common. It's the series of questions I would be asking is, when do you get your headaches? How, when and how often? And then, because essentially there's what, 7 different types of headaches, right? There's tension headaches, tension stress headaches, there's digestive headaches, there's vascular headaches, right? Hypertension. So we're asking all these questions, and migraines, and there's food allergies and all this stuff. So I'm asking, when do you get your headache? Is it first thing in the morning? Are you dehydrated? Is it a tension headache? Are you stressed? Is it, 20 minutes after you eat? Is there a food allergy? Um, what's your blood pressure? Are you hypertensive? Is it vascular? So, and then of course, migraines are vascular too, right? So we're asking, is it a migraine? Do you have ocular involvement? Are your eyes affected? So I'm asking all those questions. So if I can hone in on I guess to use a medical term, the symptomology, right? what else is going on around when that headache happens, then we can intervene. Otherwise, we're chucking spaghetti at a wall. We're just literally seeing what sticks. I do make a headache remedy that tries to cover all those things, but it's almost impossible. But so those are the questions I would be asking. And I would have to say that statistically, most people's headaches are either stress, tension, or they're digestive. So,
And dehydration is a major one,
and
right?
dehydration, of course,
Right.
of course. But I mean, in my
Yeah.
opinion, it's like, I mean, in my experience, those
Right.
are like
And
the
the
two
reason
main.
why I want people to understand the reason why I asked you to pinpoint those questions and things that you ask, it's like we have to know. I get headaches all the time. Well, what does that mean? Right? What does that mean? Why do you get these headaches? People don't really ask themselves. It's just like, I suffer from headaches. Okay, but there's a reason behind why you're constantly getting these headaches. And so, like you said, there are so many different forms of headaches, and someone who suffers chronically from headaches should be keeping some kind of headache diary, right? Or taking notice of when they see a pattern of this happening. That way, they can pinpoint and find a solution. Um, and headaches are something that you can get rid of that if you have them chronically. Taking an aspirin or a pain reliever or whatever the case might be, right, to alleviate it to get that quick result really won't help you at the end of the day because you're not going to find out why is it that I'm getting headaches. So you're just causing major problems in your body by just adding something of a quick remedy to try to alleviate that discomfort, and you're really not doing anything for yourself. So that's why I really wanted to know, what is it that you ask people, like, okay, I get headaches, but what does that mean? When? Um, Hava, do you have any like typical questions that you ask customers? Because I want people to ask themselves these questions, right? I suffer from headaches.
Very,
Ask these questions that these ladies
very,
are
very
asking.
smart. Yeah, I actually was thinking, and then I said, it's good turnout that you asking these questions. It's good. It's important so
Well,
people
it's my
will
job,
learn.
as a moderator of this
You're good.
podcast, to ask
Okay,
the
yeah, but I do feel that it's very important because everyone thinks there is a one remedy for all, and there is none, like Sarah mentioned before. And you do really have to know, and that's when it comes knowing about yourself, learning about your own body. So each body is individual, and everyone's problems are different, and we cannot pinpoint. So ask yourself a question, and thank you, Nicole, for really doing that. So the only thing that I would just add on top of everything that Sarah mentioned and you so nicely, I would suggest to look at your posture, the way you stand, the way you sit, how many hours it takes you to scroll this phone, and when your head is goes down, when the circulation stops, so that's another important question. And next question I would add into, it's usually like simple basics, but sometimes they are very necessary, like a pillow. What kind pillow do you sleep at night? If you sleep on pillow that it's not good, or where exactly your head is between your I don't know where exactly the position is.
where are you
Okay, well,
sticking
we
your
have to
where are you
spice it
sticking
up
your
a
head
little
at
bit,
night,
right? I
Hava?
have to spice it up a little bit. Okay. So, but
What
the
are you
idea is that
doing?
I know I'm spicing you up, ladies.
Is
What
this
do
a
you mean?
California thing or what? I don't know.
It's a Hava thing.
That's
That's what
my
it is.
thing.
It's a
Come
Hava
on.
thing.
We need to spice it up. I bring some how you visualize.
Visual aid, yeah, visual
Yes.
aid, yeah.
So you
Mhm.
have to ask, where did I sleep last night? Where I was between this. Anyways, have a continue. So anyway, so that's very important, because if the pillow is not good and you slept in a certain weird way, then next day you might have you will have a headache because the blood flow was constricted. Another thing it's very important is, when did you go to sleep? Because most people, we are I know myself, I wake up usually when people go to sleep. that's how it works by me. I'm like my muse, and everything comes to me when it's already 1 o'clock at the night and everybody's sleeping. And and I know if I pass, let's say 3 a.m., then already have a be prepared and enjoy the headache and live through it, and just say I did it to myself, and that's okay because I did this to myself. So knowing that it's important. So going to sleep on time, it's very important. And also sun. I found that many people go too much outside and they don't wear a proper hat or anything, and they just, especially people who now running to the areas where they can get all the vitamin D, they can get a headache and dizziness. So that's another thing. Yeah. So like all those questions should be really the best way is just to sit with yourself and just asking these simple questions, and then the answer will kind of come to your mind. But be open to also listen. And many times when we are in pain, our brain constructs and all what we want, just get rid of the pain immediately. And the problem is that maybe you will get rid of the pain at that moment, but actually then you will pay price for because the liver will get, really toxic and many other things. So I always say to everyone, to all my clients, you need to know that there is a way you can help yourself before you hop in the medicine. Medicine is the last should be your thought. Like when you severely
Yeah.
like in pain and you no longer can handle, then okay, but the next time you just learn from your mistake and don't go back again. So basically the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, we really wait for it to be a last resort before you take any kind of medication. Because if you do avoid taking pain medication when you do have a headache and you try different tips and things that I'll ask you guys about, because I know you both have stuff to like get rid of headaches naturally. Sometimes just going out in fresh air, drinking a good amount of water, and then asking yourself, like, how often am I pooping also? Because that's a
Well,
major
that's
thing.
very important.
That's super important. Neither of you mentioned it, so I wanted to mention it. So, improper bowel movements can lead to chronic headaches as well. So, it's something to think about. Do I regularly go to the bathroom? Hava also mentioned posture, but you could be in use of like a chiropractic adjustment. Something could be sitting wrong in your neck and back, and so that causes
in most cases.
in most cases.
Constriction. Yes.
And if you're someone that's, scared of doing those things, then there is amazing exercises like yoga or Pilates or even just stretching, and releasing that tension from your back and your neck and shoulders. A lot of people tend to hold stress in their shoulders, and that stress is what gives you that tension in your shoulders. That tension leads to what we call a tension headache. So there's different ways to kind of, alleviate those things without taking Tylenol or I don't even know what people take nowadays. Motrin, right? What do people take for headaches? All of that garbage.
Ibuprofen.
I don't know ibuprofen. I haven't taken anything like that, and I don't even know how many years. But I have to be like pretty much dying in order to take a pain medication.
Yeah, me too.
Like I remember breaking my leg and they're like, "Do you want some pain meds?" And this was like a year or so ago, and I was like, "No, like it's painful, but I'm not dead."
Right.
So, right? If I feel that pain, it's good because I can gauge my movements. Like I'm not, it's not terrible to the point where like, oh my God, I need a Vicodin.
Right.
But yeah, so please be mindful of when you are taking those things, especially because they can become addicting, even if it's the low ball stuff, just like ibuprofen.
Well, they actually tax your liver. The Tylenol is horrible for your liver, and ibuprofen is
Right.
terrible for your kidneys. You'll end up with kidney disease if you're popping
If
those
you're
pills
someone who's
too
taking it
often.
regularly,
Yeah,
right.
it's terrible.
So let's talk about a couple of different things. So we mentioned a few, like, right, I'm making sure your bowels are empty, breathing some fresh air, drinking water, seeing if it's some kind of food related headache. So, avoiding those foods. Hava mentioned also, I mentioned stretching, Um, what are some, like you said you have a blend of herbs. Like, what are some
I
of the
do.
herbs? Yeah, I want
Yeah.
to hear some of those herbs. So if someone does, because you, instead of taking that medication, you could take these herbs and do certain things, and then you will you relieve yourself of that headache without having to take medication. So what are
Yeah,
those?
it's a blend. I'm not going to remember all the herbs, but it's feverfew, which is specific for things like migraines and the vascular headaches. Um, wood betony, which is wonderful for tension headaches, along with lavender, which is excellent for tension headaches. And then I have anti-inflammatories in there, like white willow, I think, and cat's claw, if I remember correctly. And that's just an anti-inflammatory. So if it is structural, like you were mentioning, and I think I have a little skull cap in there too, which is a nice for the musculature, like the tightening that comes up right around here, kind of relax this whole thing, get the blood flow moving, and that's the idea of that formulation. So feverfew is very specific for different types of migraines, and people may or may not have heard that before. I do use feverfew just as a simple or just, a single herb in a formulation for migraines. I don't suggest people use feverfew regularly for prevention because it can be habit forming and you can withdraw from it. So, and it can actually cause muscular pain and inflammation and stuff. And why go there? But it is for just these acute cases. And so the blend is kind of going to relax you. It's going to move the blood. It's going to and restrict those, if it's a migraine, restrict those vessels that are, you know,
Flaring, yeah.
that are just kind of, that's what happens in a migraine. The vessels kind of just go blah. What's the word? They relax too much, and then you get this weird headache. And cluster headaches are also a type of migraine as well. So I kind of try to hit all the bases with it. And people have said it works for them. It doesn't work for everybody because, of course, there's 1,000 different types of headaches. So it's not going to work for everybody. But
Right.
those are obviously the herbs that I use. Yeah.
Great. Hava, some herbal remedies and or any other suggestions that you have for headaches?
Right. So the first, as soon the headache arrives, I like to bring circulation toward that area. First of all, anything that comes with the pain, that means there is a lack of oxygen. So for me, I found the most helpful is something that will work pretty quickly is a lavender essential oil can be rubbed over the neck and also over the forehead, can be mixed also with peppermint, so that will help also to breathe in and breathe out better. You can drink peppermint tea, you can also drink, and you see I'm a little bit not calming, I'm actually helping, not like Sarah said, but really push a new blood. So I would say even ginger, ginger, and a little, even a tiny cayenne on the tongue will bring in pulsation, will bring circulation, right? So now we work externally and internally. And then another thing that I would suggest is put your feet in a hot bucket. If you put your feet in a hot bucket, you right away will open up those veins that they will start sending a blood, and you can apply cold towel over your head, and hot and cold will help to create a circulation, and obviously you're going to start feeling much better. And then obviously while maybe you're doing this, ask all these questions why you have the headache, and then when you are more relieved, you can treat the root cause of the problem. Maybe that can be another good thing. Just go under the hot shower and just stand there and sing a song yourself, and just like, oh, and let the shower hot water come over your
But
head.
you have to sing the song or the headache's not
Or
I
going
it
to
know,
doesn't
because
work.
you're in pain, so you need,
No, 100%.
you need to do something. Well, because you see this, all these Chinese people, the way they do the exercise, they always do some sort of a noises. There is probably point into it, right? Because you when you oh, you release yourself. I'm not saying everyone go to there's special camps where you can go pay a bunch of money and go scream on poor trees. Did you
Oh
heard
yeah,
about that?
that's like breath work. That's a lot like breath work. That's amazing to release
I
trauma
know,
and
but I'm just
Yeah.
saying where they throw their anger and then you see all these people standing, ah, screaming like crazy one. Yeah, well, that's not the idea, but the idea is really just take these emotions out, you know. And for me, it helps to if I usually never get a headaches unless I sleep very late, but I do know people, so I would suggest internal work and do hot and cold and some essential oil, and then you can get from Sarah the tea or the tincture that she's making, and you'll have a whole package here.
Right. Okay, well, I love these suggestions. I think, a lot of people suffer from it and they medicate quickly instead of taking care of the issue in a more logical sense, because at the end of the day, you can easily avoid getting headaches in the future if you just take these simple steps like thinking, why the hell do I get these headaches? um, and then treating the root of the problem. So let's go into eye health next. Keeping your vision good. Um, should we dive into eye infections and things like that? I mean, I think we should. Why not?
Maybe we should cover like right now while we're talking. We got like at least 2-3 messages about the sty and the eye infections
Yeah,
and
yeah. We
and
when we wrote our
dry
notes, we
eyelid.
talked
Maybe
about
we should cover
eye
dry
health. Yeah,
eyes
so I
and
think
stuff
we
like.
should
Let's
talk
do it.
about all of those things. So let's just quick suggestions. Um, you know, it, support eye health or really vision as well. It could be genetic, but there are things that you can do to strengthen your vision, and I wouldn't say reverse the issue,
that's a
but you
tough one.
could. I'm sorry, what?
That's a tough one to reverse. Like,
No, yeah, it's not. We're not saying reverse the issue, but decrease the incline, or the rapidness of which your vision could decline. I know there's a couple great herbs. Do you want to list them for us, Sarah?
yeah, sure. Well, I
So what
have
we're covering now, just to make sure that we're covering about the vision
vision.
issue. Okay,
Right
let's.
now, vision,
Okay,
because
fine.
it's it happens with, obviously, from these monitors and screens that we're watching all day. Your vision will suffer, and it can
Okay,
suffer. There are other things that can aid in doing that.
okay, let's do it.
But let's just quickly talk about, if you're suffering from vision loss, or right, if your vision is no longer 20/20, what can you do to stop the rate in which it's going? In some miraculous cases, it can reverse. Your vision can become better. But let's talk about why that's happening, other than environmentally, like things that we do, like with screens and stuff,
Hmm.
and like which body part is our eyes connected to, because I know I just want to get you guys to where I want to go with this. So Sarah, why is our vision becoming bad? Not because of the outside stuff. And what herbs can we take, or things can we do in order to help decrease the rapid
Yeah,
rate in which it
so
happens?
um the main reason why people have basic vision loss, like, and have your readers, like these are just readers for me, but I can't see the screen unless I have them. But I can tell you one thing that I do suggest people is not rely on your glasses all the time. So what happens with your vision and why it decreases is the little muscles in your eyes just become tired over time. And I don't know if that's what LASIK does. I have no idea. I'm not like an eye expert. I can just tell you that the people that I know that used to have readers, they get LASIK and then they don't have to have readers. So it's clearly a lens thing, it's clearly a muscle thing. So there's a lot of stuff going on in there. So my basic, again, we're back to circulation. We're back to increasing circulation in this whole area. and we are using herbs that can help us do that. And we're also really careful about not don't be lazy with your eyes. Don't rely on your readers all the time. So the herbs that I like to do to increase circulation to the eye, um, and coincidentally, which is what I think you're getting at too, Nicole, is in Chinese medicine, the liver sees through the eye.
Exactly. That's where I wanted to go.
So there's other aspects to vision
Mhm.
loss, right? There's floaters, there's macular degeneration,
Yeah.
there's retinal issues, and then there's the muscle stuff. So I just increase the circulation and the body can try to heal all that. I'm also supporting the liver at the same time. If you're a heavy drinker or a drinker in general, alcohol, anything that taxes the liver is going to affect the eyes. And that's not just conjecture or, Chinese medicine, which is thousands of years old, by the way. I mean,
By the way.
that's something that's documented even in our medical cartel in the United States. Like
Right.
that's something that they know. You're a heavy drinker, it affects your eyes. So the herbs that I like are many herbs that increase circulation that we've already talked about, like cayenne, which is Hava's favorite, ginger,
Yeah.
things like that. But specifically, I like eye bright. It is very, very good for the eyes. I like purple loosestrife, which is very good for the eyes. I like rosemary, ginkgo. Anything that increases circulation to the brain is going to increase circulation to the eyes. So that's one way I do it.
Right.
Um, I also had another thought that just escaped me, but
Some stuff to support the liver.
and then the other stuff to support the liver. So we're increasing circulation. Oh, and we are getting lots of antioxidants in our diet. So we're eating blue vegetables, blue fruits, red vegetables. We're all the colors. Okay, so those are your antioxidants. Those are your carotenoids, and those are the antioxidants that help not only, I mean, they really help the liver do its job. So we're back to the liver. But you know what my favorite herb is? It's not even an herb, it's a resin that I use to get rid of floaters is boswellia, is frankincense.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't use the essential oil. I make an extract with the resin and it tastes like jet fuel. Horrible, horrible, awful, but it is amazing at increasing your vision and to help just get rid of those floaters, because you go out on a sunny day, you look up at the sky, not at the sun, and you're like, whoa, look at all these things on my eyes, oh my god. Or if you're outside in the winter time, I know you guys are in California, so you really don't know what snow is, but
That's not true. We get snow in California, just
all
not in
right,
Los
oh yeah, if you go up
Angeles.
high enough, yeah, I know.
Yes.
So you go out and you look at the snow, and all of a sudden you're like, you could see all the floaters going on in your eyes. And the
Right.
frankincense really helps clean those out. And especially so if you're combining all of those, increasing circulation, supporting the liver, and then really just getting down and dirty with the frankincense. And frankincense actually does support the liver. So we're
And ironically, people that the old grandma's tale, which is really not a tale, but like eating carrots, what it does to you if you're consuming enough carrots or carrot juice, it's actually really supporting your liver. So you are
yeah,
increasing.
and it has vitamin A in it, and vitamin A
Exactly.
it is supporting the liver. And then
Yes.
and
And it's
then we're
supporting your
also
eyes at the same time,
it's
people.
just amazing, right?
It's
And
really
then
amazing.
we're also getting good omega-3s in our diet. So the fish oils, I like evening primrose oil, the plant oils are fine. Yes, and some seed oils are fine. Stop it with the vilification of all the seed oils. It's like it's ad nauseum. It's like one person says it, and then everybody says it, and now
Yeah,
you're
and
not
and
eating
if it's
the seed
extracted
oils.
properly, it's okay.
That's
There's
right.
just
And
yeah.
what they're saying is linoleic acid, the La, is inflammatory, but I've read science that shows us that it's not inflammatory. And I argue that it's the rapeseed and all the commercial vegetable oils that are filled with these seed oils that's the problem. It's not your borage oil, your evening primrose oil, and even other seeds, grapeseed oil. It's the chemicals more in it than it is the oil itself. So anyway, that was a sidebar. But get a good EPA, DPA, DPH, DPA, EP, whatever it is, DHA, EPA, omega-3, thank you. I'll get the letters eventually. Oil in your diet. And, you kind of can hit it in all different ways. But we know that vision loss is huge and really hard to tighten up the muscles. But again, don't get lazy with your eyes and just be good with your diet. Yeah, so I think that's it. And maybe clapping.
Well, that's increasing circulation. So if you got a problem
You don't want to clap
anywhere
your
up
eye.
here
You
or
clap
anywhere in the body,
Around.
a suggestion of clapping is just really increasing circulation into that area that needs help.
You don't do on the eye itself, you go
around the eye. Yeah, I was just trying to make a joke.
I know. No, I'm just saying that, like, everyone.
Yeah. Anything to add, Hava?
Yes. I mean, obviously, I mean, I love that Sarah mentioned cayenne, because in one of our classes, if you remember, Nicole, we had like bunch of women, ladies, and I tell everyone that cayenne brings circulation. Let's just do this simple exercise. And I said, okay, you can take the cayenne and just put inside your eye. So I just said this for fun, but I did had couple ladies, maybe in their 70s and 80s, who just
someone did it. I remember that.
And she's threw in her eyes and like, oh, and you hear everyone, making all these noises. But after a couple minutes, their vision was so much clear. Yeah, so that's absolutely incredible. Yeah, cayenne is incredible. Well, what I can add into the eye health, yes, it's very funny when I speak with the eye doctors. They like tell me, no, the eyes are not muscles. I mean, yes, the eyes are muscles, and it is a muscle, and we do need to train it, and we do need to exercise every day. And the problem that we become so lazy nation that we no longer use our eyes to see far, and that's why we all so much suffer, especially me. I know I'm like become such a nearsighted and I don't see far, but if I do hikes and stuff, I train my eyes, just look as far as you can. And that exercise is absolutely incredible, because our ancestors didn't need the glasses unless there was some sort of a problem. Either someone poked their eyes or a rat eaten their eye. I don't know, but in most cases,
you have such a wild imagination today.
I know.
They would work their eyes because they would
frozen.
walk and they needed to see all.
We're losing her. What happened?
I'm to swim with me in the ocean, like.
Oh, there she is.
And then you need to know what to do, and so yeah. And no, because many people don't understand, and I realize that I need to paint a picture at all times. Otherwise, it's like doesn't sit in the mind. So it's good. It's a story. So basically, they would walk, right, and they needed to have a perfect vision. Because they would see if there is any harm their way. Here we basically barely can see if the car is coming, but that's what actually exercising our eyes. Now, and I actually learned from a very, very amazing Russian eye doctor a couple exercises, and I will share here just for people to know very quickly. When you feel that you don't see well, so you use your hands and you just put over your head, over over your eyes, and you just lean with all strength on your hand. And what you do is, while doing this, in a couple minutes, your vision will be restored. It's incredible. Okay, so basically, I don't know if I'm explaining correctly, but you need your hands, and you're gonna put and
Hava,
apply
we
pressure.
lost your
Do
visual.
I show?
No, we
Yeah, my
lost
visual.
we lost your video feed, and so we can't understand what you're trying to show us.
Okay, let me see why. I don't know why.
You have something running in the background. You never have internet problems.
Oh,
Oh,
well, we lost her completely then.
well, I
Okay,
think
we're
she's doing something like this.
like this. Yeah, I know. Oh,
Oh,
there
there
she.
you are.
But now we don't hear you. We don't hear you. We see you, but we don't hear you for some reason, and you're not muted. So something is try. No, I know you're not muted. We don't see you. We don't hear you. No. That's so weird because you never have issues.
Oh no.
Now,
Yeah,
Yes,
there you are.
we hear you and
hello.
we see
Hey.
you. Sorry, everybody.
Anyway,
Okay.
so basically, you hold your hands and you put them on the table. I don't know if I can show you correct.
Yo, we're getting it. And so you put the palm of your hands
And
on
then you
your.
put your palm of your hands like this, and you, with this, really touching your eyes, and you're gonna feel like your eyes are coming out, but this actually will create a good pressure. And if you're doing this for a couple minutes, and then you suddenly, your eyes will start seeing much better. So this is one exercise. Another exercise that I've learned from the guy is, you turn off the lights and you light a candle, and you just do the exercise with the candle, and you let the eyes follow the candle. You do up and down to the side, so that creates an amazing exercise. I've heard such amazing testimonials about that, how people restore their vision just by doing this simple exercise. It was incredible. So here we go. And obviously clapping, yeah, clapping is important. And what Sarah mentioned about the herbs, so I have also similar formula, and I'm using an eye cup to clean the eyes and restore the vision. So you put the tea or either eye bright, or you can get the eye food formula from my website, and then you put it inside, you add the hot water, and you just let it cool a little bit, and then you do like this, and then you swish it like this, and then you exercise the eyes and you restore your vision. Everything is work. Yeah, I mean, everything requires love. I don't know how much love we can give ourselves for every organ
Lots.
that deserves, but every day is something little will add up. And
Right.
so yeah, so the eye cup is incredible, and exercise is amazing. Clapping is exercise, and clapping exercise is absolutely incredible. And what Sarah mentioned about the liver, yes, it's all about the liver. And another important thing is that don't worry about drinking plenty of carrot juice. People are afraid the carrots are too sweet. Well, that's not a good. This is a good sweetness, so don't worry about that. Even if you drink so much carrots that you become orange, then actually, Dr. Christopher, a famous herbalist, once said that you have to dance, because that actually now restores your liver, and your liver is basically now throwing out the garbage out of your system. So don't listen to the ones who tell you, oh, you're getting orange. No, it's actually a good sign that the body is now slowly working toward cleaning and removing toxins. And one more thing is about the eyes. Eyes is a mirror, right? We have an amazing also, there is a whole amazing way to look inside the eyes, right? It's called iridology. So through the eyes, you can see all the problems. I would suggest maybe get a chart from a radiology and just look into the eyes and learn about your eyes, and it will tell you exactly where you have the issues. It's so incredible because the eyes are the mirror. It is a mirror. So you can through the eye see every organ in your body where you have malfunctioning. Yeah. So that's, but it's not an easy, but it's good to know that there is such a thing that you
It's kind
can
of like tying into what we said it last week that the
with
gut is tied
moles
to the
and stuff.
head,
Yeah.
right? And we've mentioned in every single episode that an unhealthy gut, improper bowel movement, not having the right bacteria in your gut can lead to, we can pinpoint it to every disease that there is out there.
Yeah.
Bringing the issue of the gut. So you saying like our gut's connected to our head. It's a mirror image of our head. That's what Sarah mentioned. So then the eyes giving you a map into further issues. It's like everything is absolutely interconnected. So we always
Everything
have
is
to remember,
connected.
And iridology is a lot like reflexology, right? So,
right? Exactly.
the palms of your hands, the bottoms of the soles of your feet, your eyes, your face, your tongue, your nails, the color of
Everything.
your skin, it all is a mirror to what's going on inside your body. And these diagnostic tools are amazing once you start using them and being, you're experienced with them more and more. They really can help, you know, in a huge amount in doing what we do. Just
Right.
This is wonderful book for everyone to buy it. It's an old book, but this is an absolute book that if you want to learn about yourself, and it's all about without doing blood tests. You just get this book and you relearn and know by heart, and you will understand everything. Because as we all mentioned, there is a whole thing about this is if you have a hair, if it's split, if it's acne, if it's eczema, what does it, even simple things like the way you walk,
right. Yeah.
and if you walk toward in, then there is if you walk toward out, if the way you breathe, it's like we don't really understand, but the body is just a walking, it's just telling you everything. We just not, we ignoring, or we covering up the issues. This is,
Yeah.
look at this is so incredible. Look.
That's neat. I think
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. And do
Yeah.
we hold this way?
Okay, let's quickly cover eye infections. So
Okay, let's do it.
let's do a couple really
And then I think
easy.
we should do sinuses, maybe. Is that one of them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
because mucus in the eyes can also
It's
Well,
all
yeah, it's
connected.
kind of part of it. So we're going to talk about eyes and ears right now. And then, which is it's all interconnected here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then we'll go into nose, some more of the nose, and
next,
we
maybe
just,
next time, maybe
yeah, no, our next time we're going to go more into the nose and then throat and then teeth and gums.
okay, good.
Okay.
But because sinuses, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. We have a lot to discuss. This is why we broke down the head into like,
It
we
is a
might have like
theme.
6 episodes out of this whole shindig. Okay, so let's just talk really quickly. I want fast, okay? We're not gonna really dive into like, okay, someone comes with an eye infection. There's so many reasons how or why you can get like pink eye or an eye infection.
Yeah.
But very simple solutions. Hit me.
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I like poultices for eye stuff.
right?
And my go-to poultice for the pink eye and all that jazz, first we got to rule out allergy stuff. Sometimes people have weepy eyes because they're allergic to something. So ruling that out, it's an infection. I like a combo of herbs. I like chamomile. I like plantain. Chamomile is antibacterial, antimicrobial, and it's
Right.
gentle. It's not going to hurt the eyes like some antimicrobials are probably too harsh, but I like that one. I like plantain because it's a drawing herb and it's going to help move stuff out. And you could add a little comfrey, and I like comfrey because it's healing. And then I usually use calendula, because calendula in this toolkit is going to reduce inflammation. And so it's obviously very important. We want to help people feel more comfortable, and infections bring on inflammation. And so that's what I would be doing. I make a tea. You can put it in a muslin bag, and I suggest people do. You put it in you steep your tea in hot water, you let it cool a little. You never want to put hot water on your eyeballs. You got to say that, right? It's like make sure it's not.
Anybody who's made a compress and hasn't thoroughly tested the compress prior to putting on their eye knows what we're talking about. You can't rush it. You got to wait
Can't
for it to
rush it.
cool properly. Yeah.
Right. So I like to keep the herbs inside the muslin bag, and then you just put them on, you can do two. I definitely have two separate ones, because
Yeah.
if you
No
have pink
cross
eye,
contamination.
yeah, you don't
Right.
want to contaminate the other eye. You're going to keep them separate. You're going to you do it for at least 20 minutes. Keep it on there 5 minutes. Dip it back in your water. At this point, you'll probably have 2 cups of water,
Cups. Yeah.
moisten it up again, wring it out a little bit, put it on your eye, and do that for at least 20 minutes, a half an hour every day. And it'll clear up. Pink eye is gone. I mean, you won't, pink eye is pretty easy in my experience to intervene in. And so that's my go-to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I love it. So a compress, and I like the combination of herbs that you mentioned. If you're someone who doesn't have all that, it's very easy to get chamomile tea in your grocery store and just good to have all around. If it's something viral and a reaction to a virus or an illness that you have, obviously treat that illness as well. So increasing one's immune system while you're doing this. So take immune boost, some type of immune
That
booster.
might be good at any rate, just because, pink eye apparently comes from some type of flu virus, but
Yep.
it
Yeah,
doesn't have to.
exactly.
It doesn't have to.
Unless it's from,
Rubbing the dirty eyes. There's many things that
yeah.
happen. Okay, let me
I
now,
was gonna
Hava.
get inventive like
Okay, you
Coven. I
said
said I'm gonna
quickly,
leave the
so
dirty mouth to one of us this session. But
let's do
anyways,
it quickly. You want
yeah.
me to
So
do it? Okay,
Yeah.
quickly. What I'm doing, I'm gonna read you very quickly. That's what I usually suggest on my Go Healthy WhatsApp group. So number one, I usually suggest a golden seal tincture. I know it's like very famous, and but I just suggest golden seal. It really works nicely. Um, um, for some
in
reason.
the eye or to take by
No,
mouth
no, no,
orally?
no. You prepare the tea exactly like Sarah. I'm just adding that you can add also golden seal. And if you don't have, just have a tincture of a golden seal, put few drops in the eye cup, and then add hot water. And exactly, don't put like burning. And I would suggest like get a cotton of like what Sarah mentioned, cheesecloth, and apply over the eye. And that's one thing that helps very much. Another one is actually what I is a charcoal poultice. Now I had a couple cases, and there's one case of the eyes like this. It was so much infection that was built up inside, and this old woman, she didn't want to go to treat it by the doctor, so I suggested to do a warm compresses, but then do the charcoal. And she did like 2-3 times charcoal poultices, and it was gone. Now it's very important that I always mention is you need to know if your sty is, if we're talking about, let's say, sty, if it's ripe, yes or no. If it's not ripe, then you need to help it to get ripe, so that way it will come to the surface. And if it's not ripe, then and if it's ripe, then I found just cut garlic in half and apply over that area. We'll get rid of the sty so quickly, but only if the sty is ripe, meaning it's already like bulging and stuff like that. Then just garlic, couple application is done. It will burn, but it will create miracles. And then another one, warm potato poultice is good. Yeah. And another and wonderful is a silver hydrosol. Good. Silver hydrosol, really good. If you apply a silver hydrosol a couple times over the eyes, that's also helps. So that's extra stuff just to add on what Sarah
Great.
mentioned
Yeah.
already.
That's awesome.
No, I love that. Okay. Now, let's go because we kind of covered both someone who suffers from chronic dry eyes. What can you do to increase lubrication in the eyes? Is it something that all of those things that you suggested with compresses and those herbs prior to for vision, is that something that is going to help with that as well?
Well, if you're asking me, I tell you honestly, it's not an easy topic because everyone have such a severe different cases. One floaters, let's say it's something else, it's more parasites, it's hard to treat. Dryness depends why there is like what Sarah mentioned, if it's allergy or if it's not an allergy. But in most cases, dryness, that means there is a lack of magnesium. That means a lack of minerals in the eyes. So usually the best mineral for the eyes, let's say if you don't know how to use herbs, then you can use MSM. MSM, if you take MSM and dissolve in a silver hydrosol with a little bit warm water, or actually just a little bit salty water, yeah, that's another thing. But MSM specifically, I actually have here a recipe I can share. You use 2 ounces of colloidal silver. You use between half to 1 teaspoon of MSM, and then use a tiny amount of a Himalayan salt. You combine this together and then you clean your eyes with it, or you do with a cheesecloth. That will help to bring in and nourish the minerals, so that way the dryness will not continue ruining your eyes. There is right now a couple cases that I treat. One is very stubborn, and when there is also the duct, it's stuck, and there is a tears, but they are not releasing, so they're not
Coding.
yeah, so they're not really sending in hydration. So yeah, so I would say this is wonderful. And Sarah, we forgot Bayberry for the eyes, right? If I'm Bayberry itself is very,
Bilberry?
yeah.
Yeah.
Bayberry. No,
Ba-
wait. The Bayberry, it was in my sinus formula. The bilberry. Yeah, for the
Bilberry. Yeah, I
eyes.
know that
Yes.
was right. I totally forgot that. That's
Yeah,
in
I
my
just
eye
remember that.
tonic too. It's in there.
Right.
Yeah.
So the
And
bilberry
that's
is
like an
very.
antioxidant thing. Yeah.
Right.
Very
I'll mention again, whoever is interested in buying directly from these women or having a chat, it's always great. Like we said, we're talking in a general sense about these issues, but every case is when we treat someone or help someone, it's case by case. So a lot takes into effect on how the person's treatment program is going to be, what specific herbs or remedies. But if there are things that we have mentioned today that you are interested in purchasing from either one of our lovely healers, you can visit their websites at sarahsherbs.com and havawellness.com, HAVA wellness.com. Any items that are not on the website that have been mentioned that they provide, you can always reach out. Their contact information is on their website. So, yeah, and if you need guidance, if you're not anywhere near either of their areas and you want a Zoom consultation, that's something that they both do. So we highly recommend getting in touch with an herbalist and a healer if you are going down that road, regardless of what it's for, right? Because we want to be able to guide you properly so that you can eventually take the reins and do things on your own. The more you learn, the better. The more you listen to our podcast, the more you learn, the more you notice that a lot of these herbs that we're mentioning on all these podcasts, there's like maybe 10 of them that we've mentioned on almost every single podcast that can be used for so many different things. So,
you know
yeah,
what?
I just really wanted to mention that.
I feel a heal yourself naturally herbal apothecary kit.
Yeah.
Coming along, right? Our fix all kit. I like
Yeah.
that. I feel like we should do that and sell that on our we
That's
can go
my
through our
hope to do. I want to do that eventually for this class I'm going to do, but this
right.
will be fun.
Yeah, just like a treat everything kit. And then we'll have little cards to mention what
Yeah, dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know what, Sarah, we're gonna get on that. I'll make
Yeah.
the all the nice graphics for it. I
Ooh,
like that.
cool. All
No,
right.
but yes. We're going off topic. This is what
Sorry.
happens when we get on the phone with each other. We like to just like we roll with the punches. But anyways, let's talk very quickly about ear infections. We're pretty much out of time, but we're gonna get into it. And then again, next time we'll be talking about sinuses, nosebleeds, all polyps, all of that fun stuff. And then we'll go into the mouth area and throat.
We do now ears. You want us?
Yes, because it's very,
Okay.
very easily treated. We'll go into ear infections, ear ringing, and things like that. I don't think we have enough time for that, so we'll try to cover it on our next one. Okay, ear infections, super easy to treat. I think so
I
because
do
I've
too.
treated thousands of them with my children. The ones that are at least, treated, I don't want to say the word because, I live in California. I don't want to get locked up. But anyways, my kids who are highly medicated when they were younger, they are the ones that tend to get ear infections. The other two that have never gotten infections. It's just, throwing it out there. But anyways, what can we do for an ear infection? Go, Hava.
Okay, so for ear infection,
Hava's frozen. Darn it. Okay, there
I'm
you go.
frozen. Okay,
Yeah.
so
No, you're good now.
for ear infection, there is many things that I would suggest. Number one is again looking for the cause. It could be ear infections. If it's frequent ear infection, it could be because of some sort of a balance in the gut. So that can be caused by many things, vaccines and many other issues. I don't know if we have time to get into it, but you really have to. And ear infection can be also caused because of ongoing treatments with antibiotics that never treat the root cause. So if there is a ear infection and we treat with antibiotics, now the bacteria is actually getting stronger, and the next time you go to the doctor, and then it will give you another antibiotic which is much stronger, and then it's called, I call it vicious cycle, where you end up putting a poor child because of the ear infection on the 6-7 different antibiotics. It's horrible. It's just a disaster. So many things to do. Number one, I found the garlic oil inside the ears works incredible. Garlic oil is so beautiful. Few drops of the garlic oil. Then I like to use the cayenne salve, and application of the cayenne salve around again will bring in circulation. You see, I all the time speak about that. Then I would also see if there is a frequent ear infection. Go check, but maybe there is not alignment. There is no correct alignment. And sometimes when there is a buildup of a toxins, it's because there's not a good drainage. And the good drainage could be because of the tonsils and all the gunk that's building up here. Yeah. So good chiropractor can settle this in few minutes, and then it will drain and go into the stomach, and from there go to the back door. So it's basically buildup of toxins. Yeah. So that's how I would just treat charcoal poultices are incredible, just application. And I always say when you treat one ear, always treat both because they are connected. Same comes to the eyes, right? That's why Sarah said use two different ones so you don't, but the same comes to the ears. They are connected. It's because let's say, oh, there is only problem in one side. Yes, but if there is a buildup here, soon or later it will come here there. So treat in a both ways so that will go down and will be taken. So garlic, yeah. So yeah, hot bottle is good. Application hot and cold. Now on my Instagram, many years ago, I made a whole like maybe 4 or 5, 6 different videos just how to treat ear problems. So you're welcome to go visit there. But that's the basics. Now you, Sarah.
So,
Well, I've had experience with it too with my children. And coincidentally, the one that's they've only had each one had one ear infection, and my oldest I treated with antibiotics, and it didn't really do much. I'll never do that. I was young and dumb, so I'd never use antibiotics for ear infections. So I make an ear oil, and I also would suggest the parents get them off dairy, any kind of orange juice situation, anything that can increase the mucus to this area will stop the drainage. So I absolutely suggest heating pads, and you apply the oil, and the oil contains, it's an olive oil base, and I use garlic, mullein flower, and I will use St. John's wort oil. And now this isn't really something that you can, not everybody can make and knows how to make. Obviously, I carry it. I obviously teach people how to do it, and health food stores have these usually. There's different ways to get it, but those three things infused in the oil will kill off the bacteria, will reduce the pain. The St. John's wort's amazing at reducing the pain, and the garlic is also a very powerful antimicrobial, and so it gets rid of the infection. You don't have to use antibiotics. So I have the mom or the dad or whomever. I don't want to be sexist here, but dads can do it too. You warm the bottle gently, and always test it. Make sure it's not too hot going in. 5 drops in. You sit your little one on the couch, um, put on some nice music or a show or whatever, and they let it drain in for about 15, 20 minutes. And then you have them flip over, and then the heating pad is there, and then you have them put their ear there, and then you do the other ear, and then they switch. So it goes in, it drains out, and what that will actually help do is pull out the gunk. I mean, I have a story with my child was very uncomfortable. I put the ear oil in her ears. She was about 1.5, 2 years old. She's up in her bed going blah blah, and I didn't even do all the heating pad stuff or all the do. I just put it right in her ear, and I just kind of let her, because she was in and out of sleep. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, she's quiet. What's happening? And I went upstairs, because she was just fussy. She wasn't screaming or anything. I didn't leave her screaming, but I went upstairs and she's totally asleep, just like, and all this wax just came out of her ear. It was just incredible. It was amazing. So that worked. So that's my go-to. Yeah, I think I mentioned it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I want to
amazing.
make sure that if someone is going to use an oil, make sure that if it's not like a liquid related infection, so if you got an infection from liquid being in there after a pool or jacuzzi, make sure that water is drained out prior to putting in oil, because oil and water don't mix, right? So we want to make sure to do that. Something that I've used for my children that I absolutely love are the ear candles.
Yeah.
And it's used a
Yeah.
lot in
Yeah.
Chinese medicine. So it'll
Yeah.
draw things out, heat it up, draw it out. It gets all of that funky gunk out of your ears. It also creates heat
Yeah.
and circulation. So it's very soothing. Um, this is something I learned from Hava also, lobelia.
Yeah.
So applied, on the outside behind your ear, helps with pain. And I've had like my child who's like screaming from pain from this, and I would mix like a cayenne salve with the lobelia and apply it behind the ears. And within minutes, the child is calm.
Cool.
Um,
Great.
Also, onions.
Oh yeah, I meant to say that. Onion packs.
Right. Onion.
Yeah, so I call them my onion headphones. My kids think it's hilarious. The last time I did it was so many years ago, but yes, I still did it. So I warm up an onion, cut it in half, wrap it with a cuff
Onion
on my
rings.
child's
Yeah,
head.
headphone.
It looks like headphones. Um, Leave it until it completely cools. It works absolute wonders, draws out the bacteria. You can also grate an onion, take it through like a couple of times through a cheesecloth, make sure that there's no bits and pieces, take some of that onion juice and actually put a few drops in the ear. So there's so many different things that you can do for ear infections, but they're
Yeah.
easily treated. Again, if it's due to an illness, just like an eye infection. So if there's a viral something viral happening with the child. So they have a virus, and as a result of the virus, one of the symptoms is an ear infection. You always want to treat, the virus in itself. We'll do a whole series on cold and flu and viruses. So because you can do about, X amount of things to treat all viruses. Whether they be respiratory or not. So we'll do that too. We'll do like a whole 5 series on that, I believe, because there's so much information to
True.
go through. But
Yeah.
anyways, extremely simple solutions for problems that people think are like, the end all be all, like, oh my God, let me throw some, antibiotic ointment
I
in my
gotta go to the
eye, or
doctor. Yeah, I gotta go to the
yeah,
doctor. Yeah.
I have to go to the doctor. There's an infection. I need antibiotics, right? I need it. Always, when you have an infection, even if it's viral or not, you should always be on a probiotic when getting that good bacteria in your body, so help fight off all those bad guys. So I think we've touched all the corners and bases. We went a tiny bit over. I hope nobody minds, but thank you all for listening to us. Next time we will be going deeper into the head area. We won't be talking about our cells, but we'll be talking about all the head stuff, ears, nose, throat. We have our nose and throat and mouth series coming up. So 3 more series. We thank you all for being here today. And we'll see you next time on Heal Yourself Naturally. Thank you.
Bye.
Guys.